The conflict in Ukraine, stemming from the Russian invasion initiated in February 2021, enters a grim new phase as Russian forces continue their relentless assault on the southern front, specifically targeting the village of Robotyne. The military strategy, characterized by simultaneous pushes in the south and successful gains in the east, is indicative of Russia's intention to apply unyielding pressure on Ukrainian defensive positions across multiple fronts. Robotyne, a previously obscure village, has found itself at the center of this military escalation. The offensive in this area underscores the multi-directional approach Russia has adopted in its campaign against Ukraine. These attacks not only serve as tactical maneuvers to solidify Russian control over critical territories, but also have psychological implications. By engaging on several axes, Russian forces aim to stretch Ukrainian resources thin, testing the resilience and supply chains that have allowed Ukraine to fiercely resist thus far. The situation in eastern Ukraine has been critical, as Russian troops have managed to establish and consolidate positions, carving a pathway towards important urban centers and supply lines. The dual approach in both south and east could mark a strategic turning point in the conflict, potentially disrupting Ukrainian counteroffensives and redefining the front lines that have been established over the past year. The importance of these developments cannot be overstated. The intensity of the conflict in Ukraine has wide-ranging implications that extend beyond its borders. It involves international geopolitical stability, the future security architecture of Europe, and the rules-based international order that has come under direct challenge by Russia's actions. Additionally, the human cost of the conflict, with civilian lives being lost and millions displaced, continues to mount as hostilities show no sign of abating. The war in Ukraine has already had considerable global repercussions, such as energy supply disruptions, economic sanctions, and heightened tensions between the NATO alliance and Russia. The continuation of hostilities, particularly as frontline pressures intensify, risks further escalation and potential spillover effects that could endanger regional and even global peace. As the world community continues to monitor developments, humanitarian organizations remain concerned about the plight of those trapped in conflict zones or forced to flee. International appeals for ceasefires and peace negotiations have grown more urgent, even as the resolution to the conflict remains elusive. As analysts review the evolving military situation, it becomes increasingly clear that the war in Ukraine remains at a critical juncture. What happens in the coming weeks may well shape the conflict's trajectory for the foreseeable future, with the village of Robotyne now emblematically etched into the narrative of this tragic war.